This is my centreboard top, and there's a few things I want to do with this. First thing is I want to Deks oil it, so we need to give it a good old sand. A few little marks in here as well where I fitted the compass originally, and you know, it just needs a really good clean up really. The second thing we need to do to it is sort this crack out, and it goes to about here, down about there, and that we're gonna glue together with wood glue, exterior wood glue, and we're gonna see how that goes. And then the other thing is I've got a few little jobs to do. These little nails just have come through there. I don't know if you can see that on the main cleat. I don't really think there's any point those being like that. So we're going to just give them a little trim. And then we should have one centreboard case cover pretty much done. First thing we've got to do is open up this crack. Until we can open this crack up, we won't be able to get any glue down there. So the first thing we've got to do is open it up. Now, I've put this in there, and I think that's going to be more than adequate. And the trick will be just getting this down as far as we can without, you know, just splitting it any further. So I'm going to do this really carefully and really quietly, so I can hear any cracks. Yeah, I think I can hear it just cracking. We can clean it up later, but you know, we need to get it opened up so we can get the glue in it. So this is wood glue I'm using. I've used it with quite a lot of success actually on the boat before. So there's that. And then these are like little flat brushes, and all we're going to do is work the glue into the crack very, very gradually. So we're going to pour some glue down here first and get it going. Now I'm hoping the glue will run a little, but this is just going to be a very painstaking process of one side getting this glued and just getting it pushed down slowly but surely. Right, so we're now, yeah, we're looking good. So I'm now going to take, let's just get that off there. So I'm now going to get this back out, let the crack, well, this, it's more of a split, isn't it? Let the split settle. And then I've got some clamps, and I'm going to start one off at the bottom here. Oh, you need like 5 hands to do this. It's like sailing. What? We can, once it's dry, we will just sand it. And I think they're so, the split, the size of the split are so pretty even now. You can feel just a slight raise this side. But I'm not going to get the wood to stick if I don't clamp it like this. And then what we'll do, once it's stuck, we'll just sand it. And, you know, it'll be like a little, you'll sand it until it's flush, and you'll never know. You'll never know. I know we're inside, but it's so, there's so little, these, I'm just going to whiz them off now, using the Dremel. There we go. They're a lot more flush now. So that's a nice little job done. I did notice they were sort of impeding getting this down. These can be removed quite easy because they're sort of bolted. They're not even that tight. So these, I think they're called pad eyes. I think these were added to the boat, and they stopped the centreboard from sort of dropping down when you're towing the vehicle. It's like a fail-safe, so the metal arm or eye that needs to swing that way for the centreboard to drop down can't physically because you've got something in, tied off here. I'm trying to work out a way of actually using them for an uphaul for the rudder, for the centreboard, to keep the centreboard down in the event of a capsize, which is one of the weird recorded problems, that the Drascombe Lugger has had. There was a bit of a disaster for 3 people where they couldn't right the boat in stormy conditions, and that was because the centreboard went back into the boat, and the boat turtled, and unfortunately someone actually died. But it's the same with everything, isn't it? You get one thing happens out of thousands and thousands and of trips, and all of a sudden everyone's ranting and raving. You've got to do something about it. But the reality is, we're humans, aren't we? We make mistakes, and sometimes stuff happens, but anyway, it would be useful for, if the boat were to capsize, for that centreboard to make sure that stays out, because if the centreboard does fall back into the boat, or God forbid it falls straight through and sinks, then there's no way you're going to get that boat righted if it's not got the centreboard out. Right, it's been overnight at least. This glue should set in about 10 minutes, to be honest with you. It's really fast drying, but it's had overnight, and we're going to have a good look at it now. First of all, give it a little strength test. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. I'm not going to, I could probably split it if I really wanted to. It's not set bang in the middle. I don't know if you can see the very tiny ridge there, but we're just going to sand that out, and then we'll fill that gap. We'll sand that nice and flush, and I think that'll be good. I think the wood glue actually forms a stronger bond between the 2 bits of wood than the actual wood fibres have. So once that's bonded, that should be fine. It just needs that ridge sanding out a little, and then I think that'll be as good as new once we've sanded it all down. Oh, I'm not going to lie, it's cold out there today. I think it's the best part of 3-4 degrees. Had a little bit of snow yesterday, so I'm here in the workshop, or the back cave, and actually I think I call my little garage the back cave, and I call this the back cave too, so I'll have to think of a different name for here, but this is a little workshop stroke shed. And anyway, here's the centreboard case cover, and what we're going to do now is give it a sand. I'm going to use my little hand sand multi-tool sander and just see how far we get with that. I've got a better, bigger sander if I need it, and we'll just see how far we get. I need to clean it up really, and then we'll take it from there. I realised I've actually got these little Torx wrenches that should fit these little screws on here. So let's use these, to get this cleat off, and then we've just got a single piece of wood. Yeah, I can get it back. Actually, it feels so much smoother and nicer. But I'm going to need my other power sander. So let's move this one out of the way and get the power sander. Here's the beast. Done all my varnishing and everything. This is taken off. But you need to be outside really to use this. Otherwise, we can kiss goodbye to a nice clean workshop. Oh, it's cold out there. So here we go, finished product. It looks much better outside than in. I haven't done the back because there's just no reason to. I'm still going to deck soil the back or the bottom. But look at that. Beautiful. And this now, you'll just have to take my word for it. This crack is completely flush and flat. It's going to look and feel really good to sit on. And I've actually curved these little edges a tickle bit more because they were, if you sat on it, they did kind of catch your leg a little bit. So they should be a little bit nicer to sit on as well. Yeah, so all we've got to do now is give it a few coats of deck soil and get the chandlery back on it, and we're done with the centreboard box. Actually, this took a lot less time than I thought it would, which is brilliant. It's always the most exciting bit, isn't it, getting the deck soil on, because it just makes the wood look beautiful then. We can see it's oh, by the way, before I did this, I sprayed this and gave it a good wipe down with some ethanol or acetane I think it is, just so the idea of that is it just strips a little bit of the oil out of the wood, so the wood will be ready to take on this nice new deck soil, so it'll soak it up nice and well. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? I know it's still wet, but it's going to look brilliant this when it's done. And it's a real centerpiece of the boat, really. This part. So I think it's been sticking out like a sore thumb actually, because I haven't really treated it, knowing that it was going to get the once over at the end of the season. But yeah, it's going to be a pleasure to look at this now. Right, that's coat number 1 on there. It's looking absolutely stunning. And all we'll do, we'll let that dry and soak in. We'll flip her over, just and where we've not done, i.e. the back and then the little bit at the front there, we just do that and then we flip it over and we'll just keep going. We'll keep going until the weather tells us to stop. Doesn't have any temperature. Let's have a little look. What temperature? +5 to +30. So it is warm in here though. It's much warmer in here than it is outside. So hopefully that'll soak in. I mean, you can see it soaking in now, especially on these edges. So I mean, look at that. It's not shining like it was. So I think we can we'll get away with this if we get it done in the next few days.